In today's video, let's take a closer look at Ethereum on the weekly time frame all the way down to the lower time frames and what could lie ahead for the next couple days and next couple weeks. If you're new to the channel, welcome, subscribe down below, smash the like button if you enjoy this kind of content. If you want my free crypto masterclass and get on my email list so I can notify you whenever there's an important update, click the link in the description down below. You'll be able to sign up there. So starting out with the weekly chart, we're currently trading at $1,628 for Ethereum, which is nice to see compared to the lows where we were in June last year. Now, simple observations over here. Ethereum is above the 200-week moving average here in red, which is good. Okay, but it's still below the 50 moving average, which is still technically in bearish territory until we reclaim it. Okay, we want to get above that 50-week moving average because you can see if you go back, all the major bull markets happen when we are above that. So as long as we're still below that, there's still chance obviously of rejection, resistance up above, and this could roll over again. So really to be in the clear and to really get more that ultimate bullish validation, we need to get above that blue moving average, which is currently about $1,810. Now, what we can see over here, let's zoom in to the 3-day chart right now. And one thing that is nice to see is here, obviously, we're also above the 3-day 50 moving average here in blue, which is a good sign for the bulls. Okay, it's not the most bullish confirmation, which is above the 50-week moving average, but being above the 3-day 50 moving average is good for the bulls, right? Because you can see for most of the bear market here, since we dropped below it at the beginning of January 2022, we had a fake out over here, but no 2 consecutive closes above it. So this was, there was no confirmation there. So we rejected over here, we rejected over there, we rejected over here. This was a proper fake out because we actually did get 2 consecutive closes above it. It dropped back below it, obviously on the FTX, unraveling over there, but we got back above it now, and now we have that confirmation. We have 2 consecutive closes above it, and this is good for the bulls. So basically, according to the strategy, as long as we're above that 3-day 50 moving average, the trend is now bullish unless it gets invalidated again. So a new 3-day close below $1,340 is your signal to become bearish potentially and to look at a lot more downside and maybe a sweep of the lows or new lows. Okay, as long as we're above this 3-day 50 moving average, so currently above approximately $1,340, I think the trend is to the upside. Now that doesn't mean we can't get a pullback. We could still, okay, in the short term, we could obviously pull back to 1,500, 1,400, even to this moving average again, and it still would not invalidate this higher time frame bullish trend. Okay, so now zooming into the daily chart, we get a bit more quicker trends on this obviously than the weekly and the 3-day chart. You can see we're above the 50-day moving average, we're above the 200-day moving average, which is again a very, very good sign because unlike the 3-day 50 moving average, we have not been above this since this little fake out in March 2022, which was also very much just a fake out here. Actually, since the bear market started here in January 2022, we broke below the 200-day moving average. We have stayed above it all this time, and we reclaimed this now on the daily time frame. So as you can see on these higher time frames, we are starting to get a lot of confirmation that this could be a very real trend reversal with multiple weeks or multiple months of upside continuation. And of course, the key here is as long as we stay above these key moving averages. The invalidation, all of this bullishness stops again once we drop back below these key moving averages. Okay, so this is a very simple way to be able to capture the majority of major trend reversals. You're not going to capture absolute bottoms and absolute tops, but pay attention to these major signs because you can see this happens once a year or maybe once every 2 years. Okay, we don't get these crosses very often, and when we do, more often than not, it is really a confirmation of a longer term trend reversal, and you have to be flexible enough to be able to change your bias. Even if you still think that the markets are going lower, the data and the charts are suggesting otherwise at this point. And in my opinion, the strategy is to simply adapt to the trends, to the data, okay? Because that is all that matters. Even if your opinion is that it's going down, if the charts are suggesting it's going up, well, then you have to consider where are you going to be wrong? Because you cannot just stick with a bearish bias if the data and the charts are confirming otherwise. You need to have an invalidation, because if you're going to stay bearish all the way up and it rallies and it goes all the way back up 50% up, 100% up, you're obviously going to get wrecked. If you short it, you're going to get wrecked if the trend is up. And You know, if you don't buy in because you don't believe it and you stay bearish, then you're going to miss out on major upside. So in my opinion, the best thing you can do on these higher time frames is look at these trends and stay flexible enough to flip bullish when the trend gives bullish confirmation and flip bearish when the trend gives bearish confirmation. That is it. It is not about our personal opinions. If you want to make money, you have to follow the trends, okay? And there's never a guarantee, but like I'm showing you here, higher time frame confirmations give high probability of longer term trend changes. And then the invalidation is simple. If it drops back below the key moving averages, then this could have been a fake out and we might get more downside continuation. But until then, the odds and the data and the stats favor more upside, because you can see what happens once we're above the 200 moving average. The bull markets happen. Once we're above the 50-day moving average here, especially, we get an accelerated bullish trend. Okay, so very simple to play around with. So now let's look at what is happening here technically. And as you can see, very simple, 3 horizontal lines at the previous highs, because that is where the liquidity is. That is where people are placing their stops for short positions. You can see it rallied exactly up to this first one. I think there's more upside, and I think eventually we are going to end up taking this one and maybe even the one higher than that, which is approximately 2133. So very simple. Probably look for 1780 over here to the upside, and maybe as high as these. Now, is it going to continue here in one go or not? We don't know, right? It really depends on who's pushing this up, how much volume is being pushed behind this, what is happening with the dollar index, the stock markets, etc., etc., etc. Okay, it could pull back from here, but it could also continue higher because Bitcoin has already led. Okay, so Bitcoin is leading. Let me show you that. So if you're looking at Bitcoin, same scenario. We have these 3 highs over here. Same kind of thing. It stalled at the first one. It rallied straight up without much of a pullback. Just a bit of a consolidation here. Pulled up to the next one. And then we have the third one at about 25K. And it might actually just continue going straight there. So switching back over to ETH over here, you can see we're only at the first one, whereas Bitcoin has already taken out the second one. So I do expect ETH to follow, but maybe Bitcoin leads. Maybe Bitcoin runs up to 25K first. We probably see this level over here. So about 1775, 1780. And then we'll have to see how far does it continue up. But 2000 or maybe 2130 over here, these highs. And depending on how fast it goes there, if it goes up in one straight line, you're probably going to start looking for resistance and potential short entries or taking profits on longs in the short term over there. But if we get a pullback first, it might give a nice long entry over there. So we'll have to wait and see how this develops. Maybe if it gets around over here, it would be possible to take some sort of short position and maybe run it back down to there, something like that. But of course, that's obviously going to very much depend on the lower time frames and everything, what happens at that time. It's just an idea. So if you do any sort of trading, or you want to trade with futures or leverage, or you want to trade spot, personally, I have been using Bybit a lot lately and I'm very happy with them. So if you want to sign up, my referral link is in the description down below. There's a possibility for up to $30,000 in bonuses, and you get to compete in competitions that I hold and stuff like that with prizes up for grabs. So if you haven't created a Bybit account yet and you want to do that, use my referral link down below for maximum bonuses and prizes. So let's see what happens in this next week ahead. I do think, as I've shown you, there is potential for more upside in Ethereum and potentially for this $2,000 to $2,100 level. Keep an eye out for that, because I do think at that point we're probably going to be running into some strong resistance.